don't know about you, but I loved watching the Marathon American Olympic trials on Saturday. My feed is totally all that right now. Some awesome stories in there, and some of them are amazing. Like, I think there was over 20 women who raced who were moms. I think there were two pregnant women. One was like first trimester, I can't remember who it was, but she just announced it after the race. Another ran at 7 months pregnant. And then I think Steph Bruce was 4 months postpartum. I think there was another mom who was 9 months, another mom who was 10 months. Like serious mom energy out there. And I think the coolest thing is to know, one, that women can perform at this level, but considering too, I mean, some of these women, they qualified several years ago, and maybe plans change or things like that. But if you're sitting here thinking, okay, yeah, no, that's me, I'm gonna get out and run, I'm gonna do all the things, take a little bit closer look at these stories. So let's take Steph Bruce, for example. This is her third child, 4 months postpartum, actively and very openly working with not only a pelvic floor physical therapist, Sarah Tanza, but also with Recore Fitness's Les Goodson, who works with lots of postpartum Olympic athletes. Like, Steph was super intentional about how she was going to go back, and she was going to go out and try and finish, not go balls out. So like really super smart, intentional. It's her third postpartum period, like super smart about it. And then the racer that, oh, forgive me, she was 7 months pregnant. She's like, no, I think she dropped out kind of over halfway through. She's like, it's too hot. I just want to see what I could do. And she looked great, but she's like, no, I don't need to finish this. It's okay. And I think her husband was actually running in the trials too, which is kind of amazing. But I think that there's like two things to take away from this. One is just that moms are representing and just showing up in so much of the professional athlete space. But if you dig deeper, there's some really smart stories there of women that are being super smart about how they go back to running. They're being very intentional about those first weeks and getting active sooner and clearance to run, and having a team around them who are running informed in the pregnancy and postpartum space. And the fact that there's so many of us now that are doing this, believe me when I say this, like even just 3-4 years ago, wasn't it as many people talking about it, as many people doing it as are doing it now. I just feel like it's like the overnight thing that wasn't overnight, because a lot of us have been doing this for a long time. But if you were super inspired watching this and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to get back to running, doing all this, don't forget that these women are being really smart about their return to run. They're playing the long game. Like, you've got, I mean, who is it? Sarah Hall, I think she set the new Masters record. She just beat out Des Linden, just reset it back in Chicago, I think in the fall. Like, we've got more women running faster later in life. So setting yourself up in pregnancy and postpartum to be really, really smart and intentional, it's going to help you set up for the long game. And I'm just going to branch real quick to my own story. We didn't know 13 years ago what we know now. There was no understanding of how to play the long game. My son turns 13 today, which is kind of insane. But I think I have made such big gains in how I approach return to run, not only professionally, but personally myself, like having navigated 2 C-sections and hip surgery and that sort of thing. Getting strong, being really smart about core, being smart about your training. You don't have to do all the miles all the time at the most all the time. Like, it's not like back in the day when we ran, high school track and you go balls out all the time. Like, you can be smart and run longer and faster. So I guess my message is this, again, like if you're super inspired and you're like, hey, I want to get out, I want to do some things, do it smart. Find a team of people that know what they are talking about, that are informed about running, that are informed about pregnancy, postpartum, that have very clear understanding of what your expectations are and can dial you into kind of what the best guide is for those expectations that you can have, so that you can kind of play that long game. So congrats to everybody who ran on Saturday. I'm excited to hear some of the post stories. But yeah, let me know what you thought about Saturday and some of the mom stories that inspired you the most. Again, like, I don't think we've ever had a race like this ever. Super cool. And it just goes to show how much is changing constantly in female athletes. So anyway, let me know.